Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today, we are bringing you an update from 10-ish months ago when we did Amber and Maddie make a conspiracy theory. We're updating it because it's still going on.
It is still going on.
And it's building.
And I'm trying to remember, I was in a really bad way when we filmed that episode. And I can't remember for the life of me what I was struggling with. I'm pretty sure it was my mental health with anxiety and intrusive thoughts. And not only that, but I was dealing with, my postpartum OCD and physical issues as well. I was having the worst headaches. It would feel like my head would be temporarily dipped underwater.
No, I understand. Like, the pressure was insane. Like,
yes.
I thought my head was going to cave in at times. And other times I thought my head was going to explode.
Mine felt like it was going to explode. Like when you dip your head underwater, forcibly have your head dipped underwater and it fills your ears and the pressure is just, it's the most unusual experience, like huge pressure.
It was. And I remember saying to you specifically when I first went down to Houston, I was like, I feel like I'm underwater because everything was under such immense pressure, but especially my ears. That was the worst. And every time my mom's fucking, we're giving a refresher from the last episode, but it is in season 2. It's in March or April, and it's called Amber and Maddie Made a Conspiracy Theory or Make a Conspiracy, something like that. I mean, like, just straight up, it's not hard to find. I can't remember what episode number it was, but I did just tweet it out earlier today because fucking X, whatever. Nobody calls it that. But anyway, like, so just kind of recapping for everybody. But like, when I went down to Houston, it was just such immense pressure, and I could feel every change in air pressure, and it was the worst when the AC unit would kick on because it was air being forced into the space where I was already feeling all this fucking pressure where air felt like water.
Well, and the thing is, let me be clear, not shallow water, because sometimes you get into shallow water, it feels amazing on your joints.
Yeah, no.
No,
we're talking
about
like the painful
submarine level.
Yeah, like we're talking painful, like, or you know what? Take it to airplane. It's the same kind of, like, that same kind of pressure. I hate flying, guys. I hate flying on an airplane.
But maybe I will if you guys sign up for our Patreon.
What's up, Death by DVD?
I know. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Victoria.
Hey, Pam.
Thanks for your support. We appreciate y'all.
And if you guys are interested, you should totally check it out, because I've never been on an airplane before, but maybe I will be sometime if you guys all decide to get together and fund like an amazing
I'll get on a puddle jumper. I'll do that.
What?
I said I'll get on a puddle jumper. I'll do that.
What's that?
That's what you call like the little airplanes that go from like local airport to local airport kind of thing. Like little. I hate flying, and the big airplanes are worse to me. Most people don't like puddle jumpers, but I hate the big ones.
I would love to fly.
Only in airplanes, though, guys.
Where should we go? Let's just. Where should they?
I'll laugh at my joke.
I'm sorry.
Say.
but the problem is, like,
it was a sex joke.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I said I only like them small in airplanes.
Oh God.
Wink.
Well, the thing is, we're in the Midwest, so like, we can drive so many places.
Yeah, I love driving. So, like, fund a rental car. Like, and
gas.
And, like, Amber will get on a plane with Maddie, just not a big one.
We'll go somewhere exciting, like, I don't know where.
Because, like, I bet you could take a not too big plane to somewhere that's still cool, like Vegas or something.
Right. Like,
you could probably get, like, a 2-hour plane ride to Vegas.
We're gonna Taylor Swift.
Pretty sure.
This bitch.
That took me a second. I was like, I do not want to go see Taylor Swift, but you were talking about the little plane.
But anyway, so we started discussing this conspiracy theory when Amber and I both were experiencing Well, I know for myself I was experiencing mental health issues as well as seriously physical health issues. And it wasn't just us. There's been so many people saying they've been experiencing the same thing.
We had a lot of people comment on our YouTube. Like, this is the first time they weren't just like, you girls look pretty. We had multiple comments on one video, and it was this one, and it was about people agreeing with feeling that atmospheric pressure. And the reason I mentioned it to Maddie in the first place was because my mother's best friend, whose name I really will not say this time, exactly, was experiencing all these problems and kept going to their doctor and like multiple doctors, like different specialists. Nobody could find anything wrong, but I went down to where my mother lives and I immediately had the exact same symptoms. And they weren't as severe up here last year when we talked about it the first time, but because time keeps on moving and the world keeps on slipping, we've been feeling some differences.
And for me, it seems to be affecting more of my psyche or my third eye as of right now. Granted, I'm not on motherfucking wood. Other than like the pressure in my head, because I know my dreams have been different.
Well, but see, the reason like we've been planning on doing this episode for a while because right now things are different, but in the fall, the pressure came back and it was in this area.
Yeah, and
it was horrible. It was you started feeling the same way I was feeling because I was feeling it much more intensely in the spring than anybody else I had talked to other than my mom's best friend. But now, I think you said your husband felt the pressure this fall. My husband's been having problems. Like, my husband's been having headaches to the point that, like, the dizziness where he's had to, like, lay down. Yeah. And that's, like, that wasn't the case in the spring, but in the fall, it got so intense. And it's been evolving from the intense, because, like, in the fall, do you remember the pressure?
Oh, absolutely. Because I remember talking to you about my husband having issues with his ankle and his leg, and he's never had issues like that before, like, ever. And, like, for me, my back was awful, but, like, specifically
But I remember you were talking about the head, because, like...
Specifically, like, in my head, I would be randomly driving, and then randomly it would feel like my head was plunged underwater, deep water, or I would bend down to pick something up, and randomly, boom, it's like I was being plunged underwater, just doing the most random things, cooking dinner, and it would just hit me, sometimes multiple times a day, sometimes just a couple or once or twice, but like it would just hit and come on so quickly.
Yeah,
and then it would be like ringing in your ears pressure, and then it would slowly fade away. The best way I could describe it is when you're watching a movie and the person hears a loud bang or there's an explosion behind them, and then there's the ringing in their ears.
Oh, that like that scene where it's like weird noise, like it's weird. The noise is intensified and dulled all in the same time. Yes. That is a very good example. Like, that's a very good explanation of like to explain what it's like. Cause like, I get it. Like, cause for me, it like creeps up, like I feel the pressure building and then it gets uncomfortable and then it keeps building. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. And then it's that feeling of like when you go underwater or when you're in an airplane or that after an explosion thing where it's just this insane pressure and probably residual vibrations on your eardrum. And like, it's painful. And it was, so in the spring when we did our first episode, it was taking me to my knees. I was having to go to sleep to get rid of the sickness.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the beginning of the fall, I was having to do it again. Now I don't know if I've acclimated or if the pressure's been receding. I'm not sure. But like, I haven't had to be laying down for it. But my husband's been feeling it to the point that he does have to lay down. Even still, like now that we're approaching spring, he's still having it. But I'm having this weird other thing. And I say this to everybody because I already told my husband, I was like, if I die, I do this to him all the time though. I'm like, if I die of some weird randomness where nobody knows what happened to me. I just want you to know this thing that's been going on with me lately. Now,
that sounds like I just have to put in there, dude, my fucking hypochondria OCD thoughts. I'm like, bro, I think I have tetanus. Like, if I die, that's what killed me.
Like, I don't like putting labels on things. I have been this way forever, and I am who I am, and I don't know what it means, but it's okay because I'm me.
No, that's okay. I totally understand.
But, like, yeah, I'm an American with no health insurance, so I just gotta tell my husband, if I died, have him look at this thing. So I've been having this weird, the pressure thing started happening in the fall, right? Uh-huh. Well, I also started having this thing where I feel the pressure come in specifically on one side. Really? It travels up to right here, which is a lymph node.
Yes, it is. Excuse me.
And it gets this intense pressure. Intense, not ringing, not tingling, because tingling could maybe make it sound pleasant or unpleasant. I can't say that it's pleasant. It's not painful. It's not pleasant. Is it unpleasant? I'd rather it not happen. So it's actually the lymph node on your skull, not here, but here. There is a lymph node.
Like right behind your ear. I can feel them on my kids. I can't feel them on me.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
And
does it swell?
This one...
Can you feel it?
I can feel it. It's not swollen. I can feel it as much as I can ever feel it. Okay. So it's not like it's getting bigger. Uh-huh. It does feel like that, though, from the pressure standpoint. As it moves up, it starts building here. Uh-huh. But it moves around my ear and into my head. Mm-hmm. And it's very much the same sensation as when I get a download. And it's almost like I'm getting an upload now, it feels like. And I actually, as you were talking, I got like that started happening. And I don't know if it started happening because we're talking about it and I'm thinking about it.
Like right here.
Or if it was like, pay attention, everybody, or pay attention, Amber, either fucking way. It just, it's crazy. It's fucking weird. And I hope it doesn't kill me. But I just, if Amber unexpectedly, who knows if that's connected. So make sure they look at my brain.
Drainage massage. I had talked to you about that too. But on a side note, so we've discussed the symptoms that we have been experiencing. Physically, psyche-wise, dreams have been absolutely
I was going to say, like, because it is evolved, because I'm not feeling the pressure like I was, other than the thing in my head now, where it does that thing. It's not the underwater pressure like it was in the fall. It's been evolving just like it did last time, because the feelings and sensations all evolved. And it has been getting different in a lot of ways.
A lot of ways. Like, I feel like I've had a lot of spiritual dreams. It's at least 2 that I can remember. And they have been so intense and so real. The one that I told you about, which was I was speaking to an older woman. She was asking me questions about my craft, and then she started handing me different crystals, and specifically they were like sigils or they were ruins, but they were metal of some sort, like some sort of
disc or something.
Not like discs, but in the shape of. So like
so not a disc with a carving of a rune, but the shape of the rune itself. Okay.
And she gave them to me. I dropped them, spilled, and then I had to pick them all up. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to get too into it because it's it's a pretty. I would call it a private, very very private spiritual dream, where I think I may or may not have talked to a deity. I've had dreams.
Agreed.
I've been meditating in the woods, and I'm looking up into a tree, and there's wind chimes, and it feels beautiful outside. And I'm going to do tarot or some sort of divination, and I see candles lit everywhere, and I've just been having some very intense spiritual dreams. I don't want to say they're astral projections or astral projections, but I would classify them in the same. I don't think I'm leaving my body. I think something.
Okay, so not an out-of-body experience.
Out-of-body experience.
You're having a visitation.
Yes, a visitation or I don't know, because I'm sitting here thinking about me being in the woods and under the tree and seeing all these things, but I don't feel like I left my body. I feel like it came to me.
Right. Yeah.
So a visitation.
Yeah. And actually, like, that is something I would love to explore in a further episode, because, like, a conversation that I just had, and I don't know if it's right for this conversation or not, but about the differences in, like, conscious versus vegetative state. When we're asleep, we're in a vegetative state. So, like, is it always astral projection when you dream? I don't know. Something I was starting to think about. And I actually, like, next week on, not this coming week, but the following week on Wednesday, so I guess the first Wednesday of March, I'll be kind of talking about these words in my Witchy Wordy Wednesday video. Because, yeah, like vegetative consciousness, things like that. Just because, like, words matter, and these things are, like, they happen for a reason. So, like, when you question, like, is it coming to you? Are you going to it? When you're asleep, you're in a vegetative state. So, like, there's a whole lot of interpretation that can go along there. I've been having prophetic dreams where, like, I'm literally dreaming about people that I meet. I think I've actually talked about it on the show before, where I was saying, like, I've been meeting people at festivals where I've been giving tarot readings. And I dream about them before I see them. So, like, they're approaching me. They're seeing me for the first time. And I'm like, what's up? I know you. And they're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, I gave you a reading last time. And they're like, I've never had a tarot reading before. And I'm like, bitch, you're about to. Anyway, but I had a dream about meeting Dustin from the Rewatch Recap, and Dustin Can Read and Watch, who joined us for a fun ass fucking episode for our February Patreon. So again, Patreon gets extras, and one thing they get is an extra episode every month. And that's where we have our guests at, other than tarot readings. So you should definitely join Patreon so you can listen to that. But anyway, I had a dream where I was going to be having, like, I was sitting down in a place with him and a third person who, at the time, I vaguely knew who they were. But, like, you know how dreams recede after waking? I can't remember who that third person was. Like, I don't know. And I have some weird thoughts. And I don't know if I want to talk about him here. That's kind of personal. Anyway, but so, like, I told Dustin about that when we were talking about getting together to meet in person, and, like, that's going to happen, like, in a month or so.
I'm looking at my teeth.
Excited.
We've been doing the coconuts.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you noticed, do they look different to you? Yours on the screen?
I don't know if they look different on the screen. I haven't ever really paid attention to my teeth on the screen.
Sorry.
I don't know how to put this. When I was a kid, I didn't like the pictures where my teeth showed when I was smiling. So in order to love myself, ignoring the appearance of my teeth has just been something that I have done so that I'm not picking myself apart, right?
Okay, yeah, I understand.
So, like, I don't notice them that much. Now, when I'm getting real close in the mirror because of using the charcoal and using the coconut oil pulling and, like, examining, I do get real close, but, like, I haven't noticed from afar how different they look, except I think when I was wearing the red lipstick that I have, I was like, damn, my teeth aren't white, and they're supposed to be white against red lipstick.
I'm over here like, is it my
failure.
lipstick? Is it my purple?
I don't know.
Could it be the purple? That's what I was wondering. I don't know. But anyway, so we've been having some crazy
like, because I've been having more than just prophetic dreams about people I'm going to meet. I've been having dreams about situations. This has been going on, I realized when I started thinking about it, for longer than perhaps the pressure per se, but just like pressure builds up, and like these experiences have been evolving, I still think they're connected somehow. Are they connected to my aging? Are they connected to this happening? I think I was meant to be here now for a reason. So I think that, is it connected to my aging? Sure, because I was meant to be here now. There's so many ways that I want to go with that statement, and the one I really wanted to go with, like, I don't remember, but I remember the other way I was going to go with that statement. So the other thing to say about that is, here's the thing. So as I was telling Maddie behind the scenes, like, I was looking into it to see, like, last time we talked about our conspiracy theory episode, we talked about the pole shift.
Yes.
And is it the magnetic poles changing? And that is ultimately like what's behind everything that we're feeling. And I still really, everything I've learned since we started developing our conspiracy theory until this moment, I still think it's the pole shifting.
I do. I think so. But it's like, I think it's the pole shifting. I think there's a giant physical and spiritual shift. So
I do too.
I think the pole shifting could be part of the physical shift.
I think the pole shifting has to do with both the physical and the spiritual shifting. And the reason that I say that is because I was looking into like the pole shift and does it like apply to the age of Aquarius and stuff, because like I wondered, because like there's like a bunch of different things have been coming at me at the same time about stuff. So I'm like, that's all got to like maybe have a connection. So I was looking into the connection and I found a different connection than what I expected to find. But one thing that I came to realize as I was looking into these things, because like, do all these timelines match up? Like maybe what's happening right now is a build up, because pressure builds up, and it's a build up to something that's going to take, because if you listen to our last episode, it takes like a really, 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 really fucking long time, like multiple human lifetimes, multiple biblical human lifetimes. Like them fuckers lived a long time, right? Multiple biblical human lifetimes for like a full pole shift to happen and these things, these kinds of things. It'll take multiple human lifetimes for us fully exit the age of Pisces and enter the age of Aquarius. So you say spiritual as well as physical. I believe in reincarnation. So even if we're not going to see it right now, right here in this fucking physical incarnation, we're still here right now for a reason, so that we can go through what we're going through as we build up with the pressure that's building up for these changes that are coming. I still think that a lot of the changes that are coming during our lifetime. But if the full pole shift and the stuff we're experiencing that is associated with the pole shift isn't necessarily in our lifetime, that doesn't mean that we're experiencing it for no reason. And that is one of the trains of thought that I had to go along with that. So I want to continue talking about, do you want to start with the physical, the spiritual, or just kind of keep going intertwined? Because I'm down with intertwined.
I'm down with intertwined.
Okay.
I'm totally down. Like, so, like, I'm thinking in my head, and I'm over here, like, you and I were discussing, for lack of a better term, the Witch Awakening.
Yes.
And that is a broad term. I know you're very much a words person.
Yeah, like,
so,
well,
because when I say it, I mean, let's just enclose
okay,
it.
yeah, I would love to know, because like when you say it, I hear a witch awakening, the people that are awakening to becoming witches, practicing witchcraft. When I think of the awakening, I don't think of it in those terms. I think of it in multiple facets versus just witchcraft.
So I'm going to sound insane for a minute. I think there's two awakenings going on. We have the Witch Awakening, referring to people who are awakening to the craft, feeling that path, feeling that draw, coming into that. I think there's definitely a reason for that. We are needed right now. Healers are needed. And witches are essentially
because
healers.
Crazy shit be happening in our goddamn lifetime.
The other half of the awakening is, so we've got the spiritual awakening, which is the Witch Awakening, and then we have the regular awakening. And the regular awakening is people who are understanding, whether they realize it or not, that things are going to change. We have to learn how to become more self-sufficient. We have to learn the old ways, because something's going to happen and we're going to change. I hate to say that we're the chosen. I think there's a select few who are chosen to be the witches or the healers during this time, and those are the ones doing their witch awakening. And then there's a select few who are remembering the ways, who realize, okay, I need to survive. I hope that makes sense.
I think it's all the same awakening, because it's an awakening from the chains that we have been under for so long. And it's so crazy. I was never expecting this episode and our next episode to have any overlap. Really? However, I was reading in my mythology book about, like, there's so much lead up to the Pandora's box myth, right? And so I was kind of like cursory going over that on my way to Pandora's box. And part of Prometheus's punishment, and Prometheus is forethought. His brother is Epimetheus, afterthought. Forethought. The punishment of the gods on forethought was to constantly be bogged down with the present and never able to sit and think and have forethought. It doesn't say that exactly, but the very beginning does say exactly he's going to be bogged down with the present.
Well, that makes sense as to why he makes impulsive decisions, like giving...
Well, no, that's Epimetheus. No, Prometheus didn't make impulsive decisions by giving us fire. That was forethought. Yeah, like... The Prometheus gave us fire because Epimetheus created us, and Epimetheus is afterthought. So we were an afterthought. He created all the animals first. They got the good.
The before part of Pandora's box when we were doing this. So.
Oh well, no. This is just there's two different creation myths for the Greeks, like as far as people go, right? Just from humanity's perspective, not like the world. Just I'm talking about humanity have two different creation myths. There's the one where the gods created them out of gold and then silver and and we're the Iron Age, right? Okay. Yes. So there's the other one where Zeus gave Epimetheus the job of creating creatures. He's afterthought. So first he made all the animals with all the teeth and the claws and the wings and the feathers and everything, right? Then he made humans as an afterthought, and he was like, well, shit, what can I get? Yeah, what can I give them to protect themselves? Because they don't have claws, they don't have the sharp teeth, they don't have the fast running or the high jumping or the wings to fly. They're defenseless. So he turned to his brother Prometheus, who is forethought. And Prometheus is like, what can I do to fix mankind from my brother fucking it up? So that's why he gave us fire, was so that was the ultimate way we could protect ourselves. And between that and him tricking Zeus into accepting fat and bones as offerings and us keeping the good meat, that's when Zeus punished Prometheus. And the punishment was not, there was more to, and that comes in the next episode. But yeah, so like the whole point was like, I wasn't expecting the overlap of forethought is bogged down with survival in the present and can never can't release himself from the chains of the oppressors that are controlling him. And then there was a part about humankind as well in there where it was, we are going to survive our age until, like, and this is at the end, but we will survive this until because we're at the point where we worship, damn, I didn't know I need the book for this episode. We're at the point where we worship power, which is the wrong thing to do. So Zeus is going to smite us down unless we, the people, rise up against those who are doing what's wrong, which we haven't done yet. Which is where I think this whole, and the reason I bring it up is because the awakening, I think people are awakening that we have to break the chains of those who are keeping us down, who are keeping us in war, who are fucking the U.S. government. Fucking, I don't know how
for Vietnam. They had the protests.
Well, it's like,
this has been going on for decades.
Corey and I just watched this movie Network last night, which everything you and I talk about and preach about on this show, with they're keeping us in our houses away from each other. It's part of the famous rant from my childhood from the movie Network where the guy says, I'm mad as hell and I'm just not going to take it anymore. That's from the movie Network. Did you ever hear that growing up, or have you heard that in pop culture? Okay. It was everywhere when I was growing up, and Corey as well. And we're mad as hell and we're just not going to take it anymore. And it was this newscaster and it's like this whole thing. And if you want to know the whole thing, go listen to Death by DVD. Thanks again for being our patron. Go listen to their show. Harry Scott did a beautiful episode about the life of Christine Chubbuck and how the media has exploited that. life and death. And the movie network has to do with that. But so it starts out with exploiting that narrative, which I'm not going to get into, but during the movie, it shows everything you and I talk about how we're kept inside our little houses and away from each other. And we're encouraged by the media to be afraid, and we're encouraged by the media to be angry, and we're encouraged by the media to separate ourselves and be angry at each other. And it's all a goddamn plot. Like that movie, girl.
Maybe I need to watch it.
You do. You fuck it. Everybody needs to pay the $2 to rent it on Amazon. It's worth like my weight in gold. I cannot stress enough how accurate and timely this movie is. It's from 50 years ago. It's from 1974. Bless you.
Thank you.
This movie, yeah, bless you. You're welcome. This movie is 50 years old. So they've been predicting this since Vietnam, before Vietnam. This has been building up. Like, there has never been a time in... Yeah. And she mentions in Network how they're exploiting the American people who have been decimated by the Great Depression and World War I and then Vietnam. Like, literally, it's fucking crazy. That movie is just... It's so accurate, and it's 50 years old. That's the scary thing, is this is 50 years ago. And everything they talk about is timely to now and timely to this awakening. Because I think that's the awakening that's happening, is people are realizing what's been going on from those who are supposed to be protecting us or whatever. And so, like, I understand where you see it as two different awakenings, but I definitely see it as, like, the same awakening, shaking off the same... It's shaking, to me, this is just me. It's like everybody's breaking out of the same shell, and we're having different reactions to it.
So that's perfect, actually. So I guess I shouldn't say two different awakenings. It just makes it easier to explain.
Yeah, I get that. I get you.
Like
I get you.
String that has two ends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all part of the same
It's
string.
all woven together.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just two.
Yeah.
It's coming to people differently.
Yes.
Which makes sense because we are all unique.
Exactly, because some people are not going to accept that magic is real. Exactly. They just can't. But they can accept that Monsanto is the devil, and that Christianity has ruined the world, and that we have to throw off the shackles of these things. I apologize to our Christian viewers. I'm really sorry. I let my personal opinion out loud a little bit too much there. I'm sorry. You guys... You as people are not the problem. So that's not what I mean by Christianity. I don't mean Christians. Don't mean the people. I mean the ideology of taking over, and controlling nature. And I apologize that I said it as bluntly as I did. I think we usually try not to, and I'm sorry. So I will let you keep talking while I remove my foot from my mouth.
People are just awakening.
Yeah.
And they're realizing it. And I'm curious on if any of our listeners have experienced any of the symptoms that we have discussed.
Zach Daddy, are you listening? Like, I specifically asked you when I picked Maddie up today, because I meant to do it a couple weeks ago when I was listening to you guys, and it made me think about our first conspiracy theory episode. And I was wondering if Zach Daddy would have any personal understandings about what we talk about in the first episode and this one as well. So, you know, I'm curious about everybody out there, like what they think, but I just think that it's very interesting that we have all these crazy things going on right now. Like Pluto is in Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius right now, and the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and the Haitian Revolution.
Yes. I had to do a quick search real quick because I thought it was the American Civil War, but it was the Revolution.
So that's crazy because Pluto's back in Aquarius now, and we're seeing some really, if you guys pay attention to the worldwide news, there's some really crazy, scary things going on. Like, if you pay attention to the American news, there's some crazy, scary things going on because a week after Sweden told its citizens, Sweden or Switzerland?
I believe it was Sweden.
I believe it was Sweden as well. Pretty sure, because I was like, the Swiss are always neutral, but the Swiss...
Oh.
No, it was definitely one of the two SWs.
Okay.
Yes. I think Poland's dealing with their own stuff anyway, fatherland. Sorry, it's pro-Slavic over here. It's where my family comes from. I'm very invested. But Sweden, which also is where my family comes from, they gave their people a message that you need to stock up on batteries and canned goods and blankets and all this stuff. And radios, so that you can survive the first 72 hours. Of what?
Right.
Where, like, it's that meme where it's like like that girl's face. You know what I mean?
She's like, the
what? Yeah, it's like the first 72 hours of what? Well, then within 72 hours, I'm pretty sure, of Sweden telling its people that, America put out the same fucking message, because the same day that Sweden put that message out to its people, America put out a message to us telling us that we were going to send some soldiers over, and we were going to participate in some NATO approved war games or war exercises.
But it was just an exercise.
Just an exercise. Well, bitch, you know what happened in Ukraine right before the Russian-Ukraine war? America sent some fucking troops over to the Ukrainian border with Russia and said, hey, Ukraine, let's play some war games. And Russia said, y'all don't fucking do that. And we said, oh, it's fine. And that guy who's a psycho that runs the whole, like, the whole show over there, he said it's not fine. And we said, yeah, bitch, you're going to do what we want you to do, because we pushed anyway. So we're pushing it again. We're pushing that envelope. We're pushing it straight across the table. And this time we're telling our people who don't watch the news, because it's always depressing or about kittens. We're telling our people, hey, stock up for the first 72 hours, man. Like, that's not I don't believe in coincidence. We did not say we're going to do exercises and then tell our people right after Sweden told its people, like, hey, stock up for 72 hours are crucial.
Sure. Well, is it Sweden? One of the SWs that are now trying to join NATO, and they have
Switzerland. Switzerland has historically been neutral. Yes.
Been neutral.
But they're right up there, right where, if Sweden and Russia go to war, I'm pretty sure, and we suck at geography, guys. Reference season 1. If you haven't listened to season 1, it's got some great content, so reference it. But we suck at geography. So if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I will try to remember. But I'm pretty sure that Switzerland would get in the middle of a Sweden Russian thing, not on purpose, just because of geography. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know. That's not the point of this. The point of this is the world is going crazy while Pluto's in Aquarius, and that happened the last time. And on top of that, this time we've got all these other things that are going on, which feel kind of crazy. And like with the poles shifting, like, I truly think that's what's happening. I truly think our scientists know. And I truly think they're not telling us, because you know what? I don't know if you guys remember or if you remember, but in the first episode, I talked about the birds that were in wrong places. The wrong birds they're back again. The wrong birds came back, at the end of the fall, the beginning of the winter. Like I see them, when I'm working. And you know what? After we did our last episode, I was telling Corey about it, and I told him, like, I thought that the train derailments might have something to do with it all. He agreed. He actually thought, like, because I was like, as I did research for the episode, I realized I don't think the train derailments are involved. And he's like, no, they probably are. Like, think about it. They use, like, our GPS is, like, magnetized. How often is your GPS fucking up now, guys? Right. Do you use GPS on your phone?
Sometimes I do. I just did, and it took me 15 minutes out of my way when I could have gotten there in like 3. And that really pissed me the fuck off.
That does piss me off, but like my GPS will change on me. And sometimes it'll change back and be like, oops, had to miss. That runs on like satellites and magnets, right? Isn't that how that shit, like, I'm pretty sure that compasses run on magnets. And I know yes. GPS is associated with satellites. With satellites and magnets and compasses, I feel like there's got to be a connection. I should have looked into that, but I didn't think about it before. I thought about it while I was talking. So you guys can look into it while I'm looking into it later, because that's what I'll be doing after you listen to this. And I listen to this and remind myself to look into that, because the train derailments, they didn't stop. They keep happening. Like, we just had one not that long ago again where like toxic chemicals went out. Like,
always, course,
yeah.
Right? Of course.
But I just don't like. Then there's the volcanic activity up in Iceland.
That's right. Yes.
Because as I was telling Maddie, I was convinced this is how Age of Aquarius got brought into it. I was convinced that the Age of Aquarius had possibly something to do with the pole shift, right? And so I was like looking into timelines and I couldn't find any connection there. But what I did find a connection was the last time the pole shift happened, all this weird volcanic activity happened in France.
Yeah. And now there's weird volcanic activity going on in Iceland.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking like a lot of fucking lava right now. Like, didn't they say that there was like something coming out of the sky the size of cars?
Yeah, like when it first went, I think it first erupted in 2021, but it keeps going off. And the last time, and I'm not sure if it's currently active at this very moment, because I didn't like look to see what the newest video was, but as of last weekend, it was active again. And the area that is active is larger than the block of houses that we exist in right now, Maddie and I, when we're at my house. Like, that's how big it is. And when it first went off, they said there were pieces of magma, earth, or whatever coming out that were the size of cars, which I have a hard time picturing. Like, I'm a very visual person when it comes to the information that's being presented to me. I picture what's being said, you know? So sometimes, like, if I get far off look, it's because I'm picturing what was said.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to picture that. But also, there's that activity. And I just saw this horrific TikTok about a woman who is, or maybe it was a reel on Facebook, but it was a woman who's recovering, and what I did to my algorithm that this came up, I don't know, but she's recovering from volcanic burns.
Oh my fucking God, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it was somewhere in like Queensland or something, so it's down near Australia. Yeah. And like, she and only one other person got off the island. Everybody else passed away from their injuries and stuff. Like, they're the only two that survived that got off. But, like, is that normal? Because, like, there were a lot of tourists there. Like, is it normal that thing goes off? I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is that it was really weird, the 60 Minutes video that I pulled up to show Maddie about Iceland. And they start off talking about a serpentine river of lava that is coiling its way up through the Earth's crust. And I'm sorry, but Kundalini was the first thing that came to my mind. And if anybody noticed my weird fucking face when Maddie was talking about 20 minutes ago, it's because I closed my eyes and I had a burning rainbow of flame coming at me. And now I keep trying to get it again because I thought maybe it was just the ring light, but it won't happen again. And here's a weird thing about me. When I'm trying to go to sleep at night, sometimes one of the things I do is I just close my eyes and I see the pictures that fly at me, because when I close my eyes, I don't have blackness. I have like a starry sky and there's like constellations in it, and pictures come at me. Yeah. And a lot of times they're faces of people. But this was like, it had a lion face in the middle of it. And it was a little rainbow ring of flame coming at me when I closed my eyes at one point right after I finished talking. So, yeah, if you're watching the YouTube and you saw that, you know.
Like closing my eyes to, like,
right?
Look. Let us know.
Yeah, for real. Like, listen, you know what? You go watch the YouTube. Like, you'll see my face when I look all half crazy and I'm looking around the room like, where did that message come from? I want to know what you guys experience while I and Maddie are talking in that few minutes of time. Super curious. And while you're letting us know, like and subscribe. Did you already say that part?
No, I was getting ready to.
Perfect.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Witches Talking Tarot.
And you can find us on the X at Classiest Witches, because we're the classiest witches you know. And after I take you home tonight, I'm actually going to get us on Threads finally.
Okay.
Because, yeah, we know everybody's jumping the X ship. So we thank you for coming to sit with us for a spell. Bye.